Chapter 7 Nine Saint Demon Gate 1. Sectional Leader Fu led the three into a medium-sized meeting chamber. Such a room was only used for entertaining guests without great importance. For an event as influential as the marriage proposal between the two sects, the Nine Saint Demon Gate was letting a mere leader class to do the negotiation. Not only that, they used the courtesy procedure befitting the greeting of normal guests, which showed that they did not place heavy emphasis on the event. After settling the guests into their resting area, Sectional Leader Fu used flowery language without sincerity and quickly left. Protector Mo was mentally ready for the lack of hospitality, so he was not angry, merely solemn. Sectional Leader Fu headed straight into the inner sanctuary of his sect. Approaching an ancient temple, he met an elder. The elder was floating in the air, a heavenly halo surrounded his head. While it rotated non-stop, each strand of the world's truths in physical form was visible to the eyes and covered his body. Nothing was comparable to his pressure. A god was, seemingly, amongst us. How is the prime disciple of the cleansing incense ancient sect? The thunderous voice of this elder struck the surrounding, but this voice that instilled fear into the heart could only be heard within the temple. Sectional Leader Fu, when outside, was extremely arrogant with his title of named hero. However, right now he could only quiver in fear. He got down on his knees and spoke. "Dear elder, it was but an ant, merely a mortal, an ignorant young brat that is not worthy of a discussion." "I see, take your leave." Thunderous voice rung again. Sectional Leader Fu politely bowed one more time and carefully left the temple. His body was sweaty after leaving. He was only a sectional leader. He did not have the qualification nor status to meet an elder. Even a royal noble would need to be summoned before they can have the honor. Picking a mortal with a mortal physique, mortal life wheel, and mortal fate palace to be the prime disciple, there is no saving the cleansing incense ancient sect. After Sectional Leader Fu left, the elder started to speak with someone else in the empty temple. "It is truly a shame for the emperor techniques of immortal Emperor Min Ren. There is a good chance that they still reside in that sect." Mysterious and noble voice rang through the air. The elder continued. "Your Majesty, as long as the techniques remain there, it is only a matter of time until we can obtain them. That mortal is not worthy of our prime descendant." The mysterious voice remained silent, same with the elder. If there were spectators, they would be shocked at the appearance of the Demon King. One has to know that the Demon King was an extremely dangerous character. Legend has it that his origin and true form were extremely formidable. The sect led by him became increasingly radiant. Nothing could shake his tyrannical rule. Within Old Ox Country, no one dared to oppose his heavenly grasp. Protector Mo was still sitting there silently. Nan Hui Ren had wittingly escaped the torturous room with the uncomfortable atmosphere. Li Chi Yi had left for his own room. He started to practice the invisible dual blades technique instantly, not wasting a second. He wanted the technique ingrained into his body and mind. Over the years, Li Chi Yi had learned that it is one thing to understand the illustrious truths behind a technique, but another to reach the apex, and actually utilizing them was yet another. Even a peerless genius with true knowledge of immortal emperor merit laws could not perform them without an excruciating level of practice. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The two blades left Li Chi Yi's hands and gracefully traversed the air like a pair of butterflies' wings. They intersected each other multiple times and ultimately returned to Li Chi Yi's hands. He had practiced this particular move so many times, but it still contained flaws. "What impeccable blade plays, senior disciple is so diligent. I feel ashamed comparing myself to your great efforts." At this second, Nan Hui Ren came into the room. There was another teen next to his side. Nan Hui Ren couldn't help but sigh in regret. He truly respected Li Chi Yi's earnest efforts. It was truly unfortunate that his innate talents were so underwhelming. To reach the apex, one must never stop self-improvement. Li Chi Yi sheathed his blades. Although sweaty and tired, his posture and expression remain at ease. Nan Hui Ren respectfully smiled. "I will remember these words and will strive to improve myself as well." Then he started to introduce the young man standing next to him. "This is Big Brother Zhang, a good friend of mine." Nan Hui Ren had good talents, but he could not be considered a genius. However, he was different from his master. His social capability made his network wide and he had friends everywhere. This disciple Zhang was very similar, but in his eyes, a mortal like Li Chi Yi was not worthy of respect. He nodded his head toward Li Chi Yi because of his relationship with Nan Hui Ren. To him, whatever martial techniques practiced by Li Chi Yi were meaningless. "This is the first time senior disciple visits the Nine Saint Demon Gate. How about we walk around so that you can be accustomed to the scenery?" Li Chi Yi suddenly remembered an event, so he smiled and responds. "Sure." And Hui Ren turned around to the disciple named Zhang. "Brother Zhang, this time we will have to impose upon you. Brother Nan, you are too reserved." Disciple Zhang had no choice but to nod his head. Unwilling as he may be, he did not want to strain their friendship. He had no desire of taking the scenic route with Li Chi Yi. In reality, the Nine Saint Demon Gate was the host. They should be taking Li Chi Yi around in order to positively promote their relationship. However, since they did not consider Li Qiyi to be worthy, all courtesy and rules were set aside. Fellow Zhang led them around the premise while he only made conversation with Nan Huiren. He treated Li Qiyi like an invisible man. Their presence caused a lot of whispers amongst the disciples. Isn't that the prime disciple of that old sect? In the distance, a disciple frowned from seeing that Li Qiyi was only a mortal. Another disciple in the sect, with scorn in his expression, laughed. Heh, the cleansing incense ancient sect is only a second-rate establishment, and even a mortal can be the prime disciple. This position has become worthless. A mortal wanting to marry Senior Li, rotten chopsticks wanting a gold bowl, why not look into the mirror to see how lowly you are? 1. Li Shuangyan was the prime descendant of the 9 Saint Demon Gate. Not only was she gifted in her talents, but she was also extremely beautiful. Countless young talents in the sect have her as their secret desire. The numerous geniuses from other places that seek to court her could form a line from one edge of the nation to the other. The one thing they all have in common, though, was wanting to spit onto Li Qiyi's face for being so shameless. Hello Zhang was even more embarrassed. He could see the hostile eyes from his fellow disciples. He started to walk faster to maintain a distance from Li Qiyi, eventually leaving him behind. However, Li Qiyi seemed to pay no mind to his actions. He continued with his own pace in a calm and carefree manner as he absorbed the heavenly scenery of the 9 Saint Demon Gate. Senior disciple, you have to be careful. Many people are courting your fiancé and they will not hesitate to cause trouble for you. And Hyo-ren earnestly reminded Li Qiyi. It is only a girl, there is no need for such commotion. Li Qiyi calmly answered. He had seen many country-destroying beauties, thus he does not truly keep his potential fiancée in mind. It was only a minor matter in his head, too. Unknowingly, they reached the training ground of the sect. This was a place where all of the disciples could enter. Once one was inside, they truly felt tiny compared to the gigantic battle stage, like an ant in the middle of a boundless ground. The battle stage consisted of huge meteoric stones. Each stone was encrypted with the words of many virtuous paragons. Mysterious and powerful energy was exerted from them continuously. It was this energy that protected the battle stage, rendering it impervious to any damage by the contestants. A battle stage of the virtuous paragon level. Even though this was not his first time witnessing it, the battle stage still shook Nan Huiren's feelings with awe. Elo Zhang was even more proud and started to brag. This battle stage was created by our great elder. It can even withstand the destructive power from multiple virtuous paragons. In the past, our cleansing incense ancient sect also had a battle stage. Nan Huiren couldn't help but mumble in a low volume. Truth was, the cleaning incense ancient sect also had a battle stage, but it was not of the virtuous paragon level. Some say that it was nearly immortal emperor level. Additionally, it could withstand a fight between heavenly kings as well as immortal emperors. It was found by immortal Emperor Min Ren in the depths of an unknown space. It was unfortunate that no one knew why this battle stage was sealed completely. From then on, no one was able to enter the arena. Great Four-Stone Golems. Li Qiyi was there, but he missed the conversation completely. His eyes were focused on the 4 gigantic statues located at the 4 ends of the arena. Each of them towered over 100 yards. All of them had different expressions, yet they were all very realistic, carved from the hands of a renowned expert with a blade technique that was very natural and perfect. This is the thing he wanted to see the most. After the death of 9 Saint Virtuous Paragon, he had never visited this sect. It was surprising to see the 4 statues after all these years. When Nan Huiren and fellow Zhang were chatting, no one noticed Li Qiyi. A moment later, fellow Zhang finally saw Li Qiyi's current action. He raised his eyebrows and asked, "What is this idiot doing?" Nan Huiren saw that Li Qiyi was trying to climb on top of the eastern statue. However, because of his weak cultivation level, he couldn't make it to the top. Right now, there were many students surrounding the battle stage. They watched him struggle like a village boy that visited the capital for the first time. Laughter erupted and jeers filled the arena. Nan Huiren was so embarrassed that he wanted to dig a hole and hide in it forever. He could not see what was special about these 4 statues that was driving Li Qiyi's action. Li Qiyi signaled for Nan Huiren to come over. He cannot say no to the prime disciple, especially when the person is being singled out by an entire sect. He dejectedly walked over to Li Qiyi under the scrutinizing gazes of all the disciples. "The statue is too high, take me up there," Li Qiyi calmly commanded. "Aye." Nan Huiren shouted, then became silent. He was silently questioning whether Li Qiyi had become insane. Climbing up the statue in front of all of the 9 Saint Demon Gate disciples, this was a great slap to their faces. "Are you going to take me up, or do you want to continue watching my monkey show?" Li Qiyi nonchalantly commented. It was as if all of this had nothing to do with him. Without any other options, Nan Huiren grabbed Li Qiyi and jumped in one swoop to the top of the statue. Li Qiyi sat on the shoulder of the statue. He stared into the far distance leisurely and absorbed the heavens in front of his eyes. Nan Hui Ren wasn't quite as thick as Li Qi. He immediately jumped down, then waited at the bottom of the statue. He stood there waiting in case something did happen. He simply couldn't just abandon his fellow disciple. Fellow Zhang, however, did not want to stand there for a second longer. He immediately left without a departing salutation. Does he think that he is a big shot, sitting on top of the statue? This country bumpkin is way too rude. Ignoring the comments spewed by the disciples of the Nine Saint Demon Gate, Li Qiyi remained sitting on the statue's shoulder. He whispered to it as if he was having a conversation with it. The crazy, nonsensical actions of Li Qiyi caused the spectators to question his and their own sanity. This was truly an idiot without fear. No one attempted to stop him, however. They felt that it was below them to interfere with a madman's muse. Eventually, Li Qiyi seemed to have become bored of sitting. He once again waved his hands to signal Nan Hui Ren. Like a boulder that had been lifted off his shoulder, Nan Hui Ren was so relieved that this madness had come to an end, and he brought Li Qiyi down to the floor. "Dear senior, the sun has set. Shall we go back and rest?" Nan Hui Ren was praying with all of his heart that this prime disciple could spare him from further embarrassment. Who knew what other things he would do if the trip was to be continued? Seeing the poor facial expression of Nan Hui Ren that was like a dead puppy, Li Qiyi chuckled and nodded his head in agreement. "Your mother?" Disciple couldn't help but yell out after seeing Li Qiyi's devilish grin. The cleansing incense ancient sect is a third-rate sect. A toad wants to eat the meat of a swan. I spit. A black dumb turtle has the nerves to court our senior. 1. Seeing that someone was challenging him directly, Li Qiyi slowly turned around and said, "Court your senior? Don't think too highly of yourselves. Even if either a heavenly angel or godly fairies wanted to marry me, they would have to pray for my acceptance. Your senior, it is a long line until it is her turn. Your mother, you're tiring of living." All of the male disciples were having an uproar after hearing those shameless words. Calm down, everyone should value peace and prosperity." The current situation chilled Nan Hui Ren down to his spine. He immediately took Li Qiyi and left. He could not leave this crazy guy outside for a second longer. After reaching their guest house safely, Nan Hui Ren cried, "Honorable senior, please, this isn't a place where we can say and do whatever we wish. Take a step back and appreciate the high sky and deep sea. Please keep yourself under control." "Hold back," Li Qiyi nonchalantly proclaimed. "A general shall stop an incoming army. A dam will deter the incoming current, too." Nan Hui Ren froze. Taking care of someone like Li Qiyi was akin to finding trouble for oneself. He was truly regretting taking this mission to go to the Nine Saint Demon Gate. After the events at the battle stage, many of the Nine Heaven Demon Gate disciples were outraged. Du Yuanguang was one of those who truly wanted to kill Li Qiyi. He was an outer disciple, but his innate talents were above average, thus many referred to him as the little genius. He had only joined the sect for 5 years, but he already reached the pinnacle stage of Provisional Palace. As long as he could successfully pass this year's examination, he could become an inner disciple. Du Yuanguang had a strong crush for Li Shuangyan. During his entrance examination to the sect, she was one of the main organizers. When he saw her for the first time, he was smitten. He also thought that she recognized his skills and talents since she accepted him. He had great confidence in his ability and wished for her to become his Dao partner. Li Qiyi being there naturally became a thorn in his eyes. This mortal does not know his own limits. If I don't teach him a little lesson, he would continue to think he is above the heaven and earth. Du Yuanguang's eyes revealed his killing intent as he screamed out loud. The next day, Li Qiyi woke up and immediately asked if Nan Hui Ren wanted to go on another sightseeing trip. He wanted to see if there was anything left from his era that were still around. Nan Hui Ren did not want to go at all. It didn't matter whether Li Qiyi was crazy or stupid. His intuition told him that Li Qiyi would definitely cause trouble. Going with him was simply masochistic. Unfortunately, Li Qiyi already turned around and started to go on his trip. Nan Hui Ren had no choice but to follow him. The most important task during this trip was the marriage trial. If something actually happened to Li Qiyi, he wouldn't be able to escape unscathed. However, not long after their departure, they were surrounded by Du Yuanguang and his outer disciple friends. These disciples didn't see eye to eye with Li Qiyi. With Du Yuanguang leading the mantle, it was a wondrous opportunity to teach this arrogant bastard a lesson. "Ah, it is Brother Du. I have heard of your great reputation for a long time now." Nan Hui Ren knew that trouble was coming, but he still kept his calm and friendliness. Du Yuanguang only gave Nan Hui Ren a short glance and said, "Nan Hui Ren, you don't have any business here. Move to the side or we'll deal with you as well." Nan Hui Ren's expression darkened, but he knew that the strong eats the weak. Thus he bowed slightly and asked, "Brother Du, what is the meaning of this?" Du Yuanguang completely ignored Nan Hui Ren this time around. He sent an icy cold glare toward Li Qiyi that was filled with killing intent. Li Qiyi, elegant and poised as always, stepped up toward Du Yuanguang and said, A smart dog does not block the road. If you don't want to be a dog, then get out of the way. After he heard this, Nan Huai-ren knew that everything was ruined. Especially when he saw the thirst for blood in Du Yuan Guang's eyes, he knew this would not end without incident. The angry disciple yelled out, "Do you not want to live? The cleansing incense ancient sect no longer has the qualifications to be considered an immortal emperor lineage. You dare to jump around like a clown in front of us, a mere ant dares to be disrespectful." Li Qiyi was ready to retort, but Nan Huai-ren quickly stopped him and whispered, "Forget about it, senior brother, don't worry about them. Du Yuan Guang is an outer disciple that is getting a lot of attention. He is also the last disciple of Protector Hua. If he passes the yearly examination, he would immediately become an inner disciple." Nan Huai-ren's intention was to remind Li Qiyi that they could not afford to antagonize someone like Du Yuan Guang. He had the support of a protector from the Nine Saint Demon Gate. A protector position in this sect has a higher standing than an elder position in the Cleansing Incense ancient sect. Du Yuan Guang did not make a move, he only coldly said, "We, the Nine Saint Demon Gate, rule over Old Ox Country. Even if you are from a small sect, you are still a guest. We would still like to treat you with the required courtesy befitting of our status. However, recently one of my brothers has lost a treasure. This is not a common occurrence in our honorable sect." Then Huai-ren's complexion became gray. He panicked. "Brother Du, what is the meaning of your words?" Du Yuan Guang glanced over to Li Qiyi and said, "In the last 2 days, there were no other guests beside the people from your sect." Du Yuan Guang clearly implied that the thief was from the Cleansing Incense ancient sect. This matter did not only affect one person because it also greatly influences the reputation of an entire sect. Even someone as wily as Nan Huai-ren couldn't help but show an ugly expression. "Brother Du, please watch what you say." Nan Huai-ren wanted to treat this matter diplomatically, but it now concerned the reputation of his own sect. He would not stand for such an insult. "Watch what I say. Your sect is desolate and poor like a beggar. Who could guarantee that a thief had not infiltrated your sect? Your prime disciple is just a piece of trash. To say that your sect recruited thieves would not be unreasonable." Nan Huai-ren's face became red with anger. As a person who truly cared for his sect, he could not stand for this mockery. "Brother Du, we want to meet with sectional leader Fu of your sect. No matter what happens, we demand an answer from your sect regarding this baseless accusation." Du Yuan Guang exploded in laughter for 10 seconds, then confidently replied, "Eat sectional leader Fu. Nan Huai-ren, it is not like I don't want to reserve some dignity for you, but you and this trash alone do not have the qualification to invoke a meeting with sectional leader Fu. Our sectional leaders are capable enough to obtain the title of named hero. It is unknown whether your elders are capable of the same task. Maybe your elders are qualified to meet with sectional leader Fu, but you and that trash don't even think about it." After he finished his speech, Du Yuan Guang stared coldly at Li Qiyi. The other disciples clapped in agreement and started to once again taunt Li Qiyi with nasty words. Nan Huai-ren was shaking with rage, but Li Qiyi still maintained his composure and carefully retorted, "Though this whole incident is your planning, the leader, or even your protector, it does not matter to me. Little Du, simply put, it is because you are smit with your senior. I think her name was Li Shuangyan. Even though I have never seen her before, you guys are too petty. Your prime descendant Li Shuangyan and her engagement with me is merely a one-sided affair. Because I respect your sect's current status, I would consider having her as a maid. And as for you," Li Qiyi continued, "you are so naive. If your goddess has such talents, she wouldn't have you in her eyes. I already don't care for her. Why would you try to compete with me for her like a fool? Get out of the way. You should find a place with a nice spot of shade and take a break to cool off your hot head. You bastard, if you want to die so much, then I'll show you to your death." Du Yuan Guang, enraged by those words, summoned his sword as well as his aura. "Du Yuan Guang, if you want to fight, I will reciprocate." Having witnessed Li Qiyi's bravery, Nan Huai-ren, who was burning with rage, felt a lot better. However, he knew that Li Qiyi had never cultivated before, so he immediately stood guard in front of him. "Fine, I will take care of you first, then I'll kill the little bastard." Fiery anger exploded from his eyes. To him, Li Shuangyan was an untouchable goddess, yet Li Qiyi dared to insult her. Li Qiyi slowly pushed Nan Huai-ren back, and he calmly said, "Hey Huai-ren, if someone wants to take my life, then I'll be the one to put an end to him. You should stand back and watch." Good, excellent." Du Yuan Guang was no longer angry but bursting out in laughter. "This is the funniest thing I have ever heard. A piece of trash like you wants to kill someone who is at the provisional palace stage like me? So be it, I will give you a chance to fight." Knowing that he was immortal, they knew he could not use any merit laws. The other disciples pitied Li Qiyi. "Martial techniques versus merit laws, you don't even know the basics, yet your arrogance is through the sky. It is such a pity." Li Qiyi could not be bothered by those comments. He exclaimed, "That is fine, everyone can witness this battle." He walked towards the battle stage. "Yuka." Nan Huai-ren was filled with fear. He grabbed Li Qiyi and said, "Senior, this is impossible. Du Yuan Guang has reached the pinnacle of the provisional palace stage. You cannot be his match." It is fine, he is only at Provisional Palace and not at Royal Noble. However, even if a Royal Noble in the 9 Saint Demon Gate dares to mess with me, depending on my mood I would mince him into tiny pieces too. Li Qi smirked lightly, then pushed Nan Huiren away. Nan Huiren's head started to hurt. His first thought was that his senior had become senile. Li Qi had only joined the sect for a few days, he has not begun to practice even the most basic of cultivation techniques. He only had access to the invisible dual blades martial technique. A person who only practiced martial arts could not fight against a cultivator. Martial techniques when compared to a merit law was like heaven and earth, not to mention Du Yuan Guang was also an expert in the Provisional Palace stage. Nan Huiren regained his reasoning and he immediately went to find his master protector Mo. He knew, if this fight happened, only death would be the result. The news about Li Qi Yi and Du Yuan Guang's fight was intentionally spread by the disciples of the 9 Saint Demon Gate. Word of this quickly traveled through the whole sect. Du Yuan Guang possessed considerable influence and popularity within the sect for reaching Provision Palace stage in 5 years after he was admitted. Here, he was considered a genius. At the current Cleansing Incense Ancient sect, he would be a genius amongst geniuses. Even the seniors who heard about this challenge were surprised. Challenging Du Yuan Guang. He is the inheriting disciple of Protector Hua. Even though his golden wolf physique has only reached Haoshan, it is still a formidable type. What is the current cultivation level of the prime disciple of Cleansing Incense Ancient sect? Some of the disciples who had never heard of Li Qi Yi were quite intrigued. Senior Sheng worries too much, that sect is average at best and without any experts. Their prime disciple is a piece of trash, mortal physique, mortal life wheel and mortal fate palace. He had only joined the Cleansing Incense Ancient sect for 2 days. He had only practiced martial techniques, even the most elementary merit laws eluded him. Disciple mockingly answered. After hearing this news, the seniors who didn't know Li Qi Yi before became even more perplexed. A martial artist challenging a cultivator, he must be tired of living. This is just like the young deer that's not scared of a tiger, how sad. 1. A lot of the seniors lost their interest because they believed the fight would end after a single move. Du Yuan Guang only needed one swing and everything would be finished. This news also reached the ears of a few sectional leaders and protectors. They shook their heads while they contemplated about the implications. One of the protectors spoke up in an aloof and cold manner. Maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Killing one trash isn't something to be proud about, however, if the idiotic Cleansing Incense Ancient Sect's juniors wish to challenge us, let this be a lesson. This comment caused some protectors and sectional leaders to knit their eyebrows. It was still an immortal emperor sect after all. Currently, it still had emperor-level cultivation methods and more importantly the inheritance of the immortal Emperor Min Ren. Everyone has been watching that sect like a hungry tiger, waiting for the right moment to strike. Realistically, the 9 Saint Demon Gate only had to mobilize their protectors in order to rob the Emperor merit laws, but the current Demon King had never revealed his thoughts about the topic. This caused the upper echelons to remain silent as well. If only the Demon King would give the order, someone would immediately travel and destroy the sect right away, with zero hesitation. While the upper echelons were still pondering, Li Qi Yi was standing on top of the battle stage. There was quite a crowd gathered for this event. They just wanted to see what kind of torture methods would be employed by Du Yuan Guang. When Du Yuan Guang stepped onto the battle stage, a disciple loudly yelled. Senior Du, use one sword swing to chop off his head. Another chimed in. One sword strike is too merciful towards him. He dared to insult Senior Li and our sect, you have to flay him piece by piece. Senior opened his mouth. Death is the only result for insulting our sect. Junior Du, do not rush, slice off his hands and feet but do not kill him, wait for the Cleansing Incense Ancient sect to come and apologize for him. Let the whole Grand Middle Territory know, even the whole mortal Emperor world know the consequences of opposing us. On the battle stage, Li Qi Yi stared at Du Yuan Guang and teased. The 9 Saint Demon Gate's disciples can only use words, you guys are indeed experts at using your mouths. Idiotic animal, I only need one sword strike to remove your head from your body. Cold as ice, Du Yuan Guang lifted his chin and looked down on his opponent. If you want to fight then fight, so much time wasted. Li Qi Yi casually responded. His left hand gripped his blade tightly, he lifted it horizontally and pointed the edge towards Du Yuan Guang and proclaimed. Make your move. Dai. Infuriated by Li Qi Yi's fearless attitude, Du Yuan Guang made his move. A sword strike that felt like it could destroy the surrounding space lashed out. It was as fast as lightning. The energy aura sharply leapt towards the heart of Li Qi Yi, which was accompanied by the endless anger of Du Yuan Guang. Li Qi Yi did not take a step back, he instead moved forward. With each step he took the blade in his left hand and moved like a heavenly serpent. It quickly deflected the sword technique to the side. A sharp noise indicating successful contact with the flesh filled the arena. Du Yuan Guang's sword, although it did not hit Li Qi Yi's heart, had pierced his left shoulder. Insect. Du Yuan Guang smirked until he saw that, as his sword was still in Li Qiyi's left shoulder, his opponent's right hand started moving. In the blink of an eye, even Du Yuan Guang did not see the movement of Li Qiyi's blade. Goody. The blade strike was too swift, it invoked mysterious truths that nothing else could compare to. No one saw the trajectory of the move. The 9 Saint Demon Gates disciples were cheering loudly when they saw Du Yuan Guang's sword connect. However, the same second when the sword met the left shoulder, Nanhui Ren and Protector Mo finally arrived. Protector Mo saw the sword's connection and yelled out, "Please lower your sword and spare him." 1 second later, blood dripped down from the throat of Du Yuan Guang. Then all of a sudden, it splurted out as his body slowly fell to the ground. Mercilessly, Li Qiyi had thrown both of his blades using the invisible dual blades technique. Feb. Du Yuan Guang's body was crossed by the path of the two blades as they magically intersected each other, dividing his body into 5 pieces before it hit the ground completely. Blood filled the arena. Du Yuan Guang's eyes flashed hints of bewilderment and regrets. He did not understand how he had fallen. How would he know that the technique of Li Qiyi was honed by immortal Emperor Min Ren himself? Although it could not compare to emperor-level merit laws, a martial technique sharpened by an immortal emperor could not be underestimated. The more frightening fact was that Li Qiyi grasped the mysterious truths of this technique. From the ancient era until now, only the emperor and Li Qiyi have fully understood the principles behind the move. At this level, this technique could even slay a royal noble. Du Yuan Guang went into the match while underestimating his opponent. He did not have any defense ready. There was no way he could dodge the peerless strike. Li Qiyi traded his left shoulder in order to execute this move. Right now, the whole battle stage was completely silent. The laughters and jeers disappeared. It seemed like time had froze. Nanhui Ren's jaws dropped to the floor. He hurried here in order to save Li Qiyi, but he couldn't imagine that Li Qiyi only needed 1 slash to dismember his opponent's body. Li Qiyi was slowly removing the magical sword from his shoulder. The noise of the sword cutting against his bone shrieked softly, but Li Qiyi showed no emotion or pain. He had experienced much worse pains in the past. He threw the sword away and stepped outside of the ring. He looked around and saw the crowd. Showing a dejected and regretful expression, he said, "It seems like my blade technique is still missing something. I had to trade a strike and now I am hurt." Remembering what had just occurred, Nanhui Ren's jaws was still hugging the floor. It wouldn't be surprising for it to be dislocated after staying agape for so long. 1 blade to kill a cultivator and he was pretending to be sad. This fellow was shameless. As for the 9 Saint Demon Gates disciples, their souls had not yet returned to their bodies. Du Yuan Guang was a genius amongst his peers, but he was instantly mutilated by his opponent. Protector Mo was the first to regain his composure. He immediately covered Li Qiyi's wound to stop the blood flow and he gravely said, "Go now." He carried Li Qiyi and left the arena while Nanhui Ren followed right behind them. After settling Li Qiyi down, Protector Mo just sat there aimlessly. Right now, he didn't have the time to think about how Li Qiyi killed Du Yuan Guang. He was devastated about the consequences of killing a disciple from the 9 Saint Demon Gate. This was a huge disaster. Nanhui Ren, on the other hand, was treating the wound of Li Qiyi with a special silver paste. Then he applied bandages around the shoulder. His mind still wondered about what happened. How is it possible for a martial technique to kill a provisional palace expert? He had seen Li Qiyi practice the move before. Although it was admirable, he didn't truly care for it since it was only a martial technique. That is only because you do not understand the truth. Comfortably relaxing in his chair, Li Qiyi was pleased with Nanhui Ren's confused expression. Although Nanhui Ren was not a genius, he was not without skill either. Otherwise, he would not be a hall master amongst the disciples. He had read the Invisible Dual Blades manual before. In his eyes, it was only a normal martial technique, but in Li Qiyi's hands it had a fearful offensive power. He looked at Li Qiyi carefully. As a wily person, he was capable of discerning characteristics and emotions from a person at a glance. However, the 13-year-old Li Qiyi in front of him he could not see through. 13 years of age was the age when a person first joined a sect. It was still a young age that was emotionally provocable. However, Li Qiyi possessed a calm aura that was as deep as the ocean. It was hard to describe it with words. His mortal physique, mortal life wheel, and mortal fate palace made the elders and Nanhui Ren doubt him. In reality, Nanhui Ren thought Li Qiyi had a mental illness during their first contact, a mental illness that made one act arrogant and carefree under all conditions. However, after these last few days, he was starting to understand that arrogance and calmness were naturally a part of who Li Qiyi was. Big disaster. Protector Mo panicked since he was without a solution and quickly said, "The trial is over, we have to return to our sect." Staying here right now was the same as being in a lion's den or a dragon's cave. The only thought in his mind right now was to flee. It is only a small matter, why do we have to run? As the culprit, Li Qiyi was lying down lazily on his chair. Slowly he spoke. "Me, there is no place safer than the 9 Saint Demon Gate." Protector Mo glared angrily at Li Qiyi. He really wanted to slap him a few times. However, he then remembered that a disaster was coming and he lost all desire to teach this brat a physical lesson. What do you know? Someone who was normally reserved and quiet like Protector Mo couldn't help but reprimand. Do you think you are peerless under the heavens after you got lucky in killing Du Yuan Guang? You don't know the strength of the 9 Saint Demon Gate, not to mention the Demon King. Even an elder alone is enough to deal with our 6 elders. The 9 Saint Demon Gate destroying us is akin to killing an ant. Those words were humble but realistic. In reality, the 6 elders officially were to be given titles. They would just be named heroes. They would be equivalent to 9 Saint Demon Gate's protectors. The elders in the 9 Saint Demon Gate were all royal nobles at the very least, and the Demon King was one that had created countless miracles and legends in the last 30,000 years. His strength was deep without a ceiling. My dear Protector Mo, do not worry yourself, Li Qi aloofly said. If this was outside, I would be a bit troubled. However, it is the opposite now. We will see who will kill who. Named heroes, royal nobles, those fools can't reach the apex. Protector Mo was at a loss for words. This little kid just said that named heroes and royal nobles couldn't reach the apex when our elders were only named heroes. You. At that moment, something sounded outside. Nan Huai Ren's expression instantly became sour. He quickly went out to check but ran back inside immediately and screamed in terror. Not good, there's a blockade outside the building. Crowd entered the building led by sectional leader Fu. His expression right now was very ugly. Brother Fu, this is only a little misunderstanding. Seeing Fu's expression, Protector Mo knew that one could not hide from the sun forever. He took a deep breath and went to greet him. One misunderstanding, then you can explain it to our junior Su Hui. Sectional leader Fu stood to the side and a young man walked next to him. This young man wore a golden robe. His body was surrounded by a bloody aura and above his head a translucent golden light was situated. He was only 20 but his aura was formidable. When he saw the young man, Protector Mo couldn't help but shiver. The man in front of him had most likely reached the stage of Heaven's Mandate. It was quite unbelievable. It took Protector Mo 50 years to reach Heaven's Mandate. This is Su Hui, the first disciple of Protector Hua. Du Yuan Guang was about to be Protector Hua's disciple, but he is now dead. Junior Su Hui wants reparations. Sectional leader Fu coldly said. Su Hui stepped forward. His eyes radiated a golden light like a sword that had been unsheathed. He possessed a tyrannical aura, an aura that felt as if it wanted to devour others. Su Hui was, of course, a lot stronger than Du Yuan Guang. Even if he was not the ultimate genius, he was considered to be well established within the sect and many responsibilities were given to him. Killing must be punished by death, a blood feud has to be paid by blood, there is nothing else to say. Su Hui's eyes pierced toward Li Qi like an animal, wanting to separate him into many pieces. Protector Mo quickly mediated. Junior Su, this is a misunderstanding. My sect's disciple didn't want to kill him, it was only an accident. Su Hui gravely said. There is no room for discussion. Hand over the criminal right now. Do not commit another mistake. Otherwise, you guys are seeking death. Be careful that this might bring about the end of your sect. No wonder. Li Qi slowly rose from his chair and gracefully walked forward while glaring at Su Hui. It is no wonder the atmosphere of the 9 Saint Demon Gate was so grim. It is because of idiots like you. Both Nan Huai Ren and Protector Mo gulped in amazement. Nan Huai Ren screamed inside. Oh my god, my great ancestor, speaking 1 or 2 less sentences wouldn't kill you now, would it? You calling him an idiot to his face is akin to pouring oil into the fire. With those words alone, it is enough to kill you 1,000 times over. Su Hui's killing intent amplified as he was filled with rage. He made a move towards Li Qi. Protector Mo interfered. He grabbed Su Hui's hand to stop him from rampaging. Protector Mo, don't make another mistake. Sectional leader Fu channeled his energy. His body started to radiate golden light. He took a step forward and his aura alone made it hard for Protector Mo to breathe. Protector Mo was surprised by the difference in strength between him and Fu. Fu was a named hero. Unless an elder was here to combat him, there was no one here who could stop him. Sectional leader Fu, is this how you treat your guests at the 9 Saint Demon Gate? Sectional leader Fu showed no emotions and proclaimed. If you hand over the criminal, you will still be an esteemed guest at our sect. However, if you think your sect has the strength to be our enemy and continue to harbor the criminal, then not only will your life be forfeited but your entire sect will meet its demise. Sect's demise. Li Qi, who was protected by Protector Mo, lightly chuckled and said. The 9 Saint Demon Gate has become too arrogant. If there was a danger of a sect's demise, it would be your sect. Li Qi no longer wanted to look at sectional leader Fu and Su Hui. He stepped outside. It was as if he was taking a stroll on an empty street and said, I don't care who the current master of the 9 Saint Demon Gate is, Demon King or Virtuous Paragon, whatever. If you want to follow the courtesy guidelines, fine. If not, then don't do it. I will gladly reciprocate the treatment. Today, right here, I will massacre all of the 9 Saint Demon Gate. I will send all of you down to meet the old chicken head. 1. Good, good, how courageous! I will pull out your ligaments, then flay your skin, then we will see how you are going to destroy our sect. Su Hui was at a loss for words. This was the most comedic event he had ever witnessed. This was the first time he had seen such an arrogant and ignorant person. Right now, Protector Mo and Nan Hui Ren wanted to dig a hole and hide themselves in it. A mortal proclaiming to destroy the Nine Saint Demon Gate, this was a sect that was extremely strong even within the whole of the Grand Middle Territory. It ruled over a whole nation. Who could actually massacre them? Li Qiyi ignored Su Hui and kept on walking gracefully outside. Bastard Dai. Su Hui floated into the air and rotated his sword's energy towards Li Qiyi. Stand down. A voice akin to thunder in the sky rang across the whole sect. No one could resist the authority contained within it. It pierced straight to the soul. Due to this voice, even Su Hui and sectional leader Fu couldn't help but shiver. Their limbs went limp. First Elder. Sectional leader Fu recognized the voice. With fear still spread through his body, he found himself unable to believe that such a small matter was causing the presence of the First Elder. It was a fair competition. When killed, one can only blame oneself for not being as skilled. His voice continued to roar through the sky. Legend has it that the First Elder was an enlightened being. This was a character whose strength was only below the Demon King. His presence today made everyone think that there was more to the mortal than meets the eye. Our marriage alliance between the Nine Saint Demon Gate and the Cleansing Incense Ancient Sect is our sect's tradition. First Elder, ignoring the death of Du Yuan Guang, let his thunderous voice strike again. However, marriage is not a small matter. If the Cleansing Incense Ancient Sect wants to marry our prime descendant, he has to prove that he is worthy. After hearing the words of the First Elder, Li Qiyi returned to his tranquil manner and said, Finally, the Nine Saint Demon Gate has someone who will take responsibility. If you want to follow the tradition, I shall do the same. You want to test me? So be it, I accept. Picking a day is not as good as meeting the day. We shall conduct the test right now. To marry your descendant is my choice. However, if anyone dares to disrespect me, I will teach them a lesson. 2. Finished with his words, he walked right outside. It will be today. After finishing his final command, the sky finally returned to its serene state. Everyone started to scatter since no one dared to disrespect the First Elder's command. However, the consensus here was that Li Qiyi did not know that the sky was high and the earth was wide. His arrogance seemed to know no bounds. Protector Mo no longer cared for his image. He grabbed Li Qiyi and carried him back to the room. You fool, if you want to die, please don't bring our sect down with you. Protector Mo, do you have to be so scared? Li Qiyi, unwilling to be carried back to the room, pushed Protector Mo's hands away. You. Protector Mo couldn't help himself anymore and started to hyperventilate. Nan Hui Ren, like a mistreated bride, cried. Senior, do you know how strong the Nine Saint Demon Gate is right now? Let alone their elders and the Demon King, all of their protectors have the qualification to be royal nobles. Demon King Lun Rai using a single hand would be enough to bring disaster to our sect. Before, when their first elder was disarming the conflict, you should have taken the chance to nullify the problem. Is that how it is? It is too late now, plus I prefer to talk with my fists. Li Qiyi coldly said. Of course Li Qiyi could not reveal his secrets. If the Nine Saint Demon Gate wanted to cause trouble, he would use this opportunity to test the integrity of the sect. Although that year he promised Nine Saint Virtuous Paragon to take care of his descendants, but if they didn't know their place, Li Qiyi would be happy to cure them of their corruption. Additionally, it would justify him taking the treasures of Nine Saint Demon Gate. Nan Hui Ren gave up, no longer wanting to speak or look at Li Qiyi. He felt like he was conducting music, but only an ox was listening. It was a waste of his energy. 3. Protector Mo finally regained control of his voice. He could only scornfully say, You better follow the rules and attend the trial. If you keep causing trouble, you don't have to worry about going back to the sect. No one can save you then. The trial was taking place in an ancient pavilion. There were 2 protectors acting as the mediators. One of them was Protector Hua, the master of Su Hui. The other was Grand Protector Yu He, the strongest protector in the Nine Saint Demon Gate. Circular, visible auras surrounded the body of Protector Hua. It was as if his body was made out of golden metal. As for the Grand Protector, his aura was much more intimidating. His royal noble strength seeped out in a sanguine color instead of a golden one. Many disciples surrounded the pavilion. Cultivating could be lonely and mundane. They all loved an opportunity for something entertaining to happen. There were so many here that even a fly could not get through the sea of people. The group that opposed this marriage the most consisted of the male disciples. They all hoped for Li Qiyi to fail his trial because they believed that he does not qualify to be the husband of their goddess. The disciples also did not like his attitude during the 2 days that he had been here. Of course, this was understandable since he did threaten to destroy the Nine Saint Demon Gate. The fire and hatred in their eyes could kill Li Qiyi 100 times over. They started to converse amongst themselves. Let us kill him as well as the whole Cleansing Incense Ancient Sect. No, we have to cut off his arms and feet, then use his head as a candle holder. A candle holder? That is too humane. This ant wants to marry our princess, we have to imprison him on top of Hawk Cliff. Let the hawks peck at him for 100 years while we keep him alive with medicinal techniques. The conversations quickly became yellings, the crowd fueled itself on anger and hatred towards Li Qiyi. Both Protector Mo and Nan Huai Ren were shaking in fear, their teeth couldn't stop grinding. Li Qiyi removed himself from the surroundings and he calmly walked around the pavilion with an arrogant flair. Anyone else would have fainted from being surrounded by so many people that want to eat them alive. Hem. At this moment, Grand Protector Yuhi coughed. This seemingly quiet cough overpowered the crowd. No matter how loud the surrounding was, everyone heard it and immediately stopped talking. The aura of a royal noble once again dominated the air. At this time, Protector Hua began to talk. If you can successfully complete the trial, then our two sects will be in-laws just like the ancient tradition. If you can't pass it or die during the test, then it is only a shame that you are not skillful enough. Li Qiyi sat down on a chair, then slowly turned towards Protector Hua. He slowly shook his head and smiled. You can only say the Nine Saint Demon Gate is not as eminent as it once was. In that era, why did Nine Saint Virtuous Paragon make that promise? In that era, why did the two sects become in-laws and allies? In that era, the Cleansing Incense Ancient Sect was worshipped by the heavens and ruled the nine worlds. Simply put, the Nine Saint Demon Gate only wanted the protection of the Cleansing Incense Ancient Sect to have a backing in order to grow. Li Qiyi did not know all of the stories in the past because his condition was not fully stable at that time. The marriage tradition between the two was not proposed by immortal Emperor Ming Ren and Nine Saint Virtuous Paragon, it was proposed by their descendants. Li Qiyi continued. Now the era has changed and you guys want to relinquish the promise after having benefited from it. Your current generation is incomparable to your ancestors. Protector Hua interjected. HMMPH, it is as you said, eras change. If you want to say that the current generation is worse than the past, this statement applies to the Cleansing Incense Ancient Sect, not us. Now we rule the country, the emperor lineages who want to be our in-laws number more than just one or two, and you think someone like you is worthy of our princess. Just let the past go, you can't change anything by competing in a quarrel. Grand Protector Yuhi started to speak. We are giving you a chance to honor the promise that year. If you are afraid, you can leave now. We will not stop or bother you. The promise that year will end here. If I am here, then I must take the challenge. What is the trial? Li Qiyi preferred Yuhi's attitude a lot more. Since your cultivation level is not ideal, Our Highness has decided to give you a better chance. The first will not be combat-oriented, however, the second will be. Yuhi continued after a short pause. First is very simple, you will have to go into the chaotic heart forest with one of our disciples. The one that travels farther will win. The second is even simpler, it will be a solo fight to determine the victor. There is also a third test, but you only need to win 2 to pass the trial. The third test consists of. No need to continue, 2 tests will suffice. Li Qiyi cut off the protector. How arrogant! Protector Hua yelled at him for being so arrogant. He started to exert pressure towards Li Qiyi. The test hasn't even started and you want to fight already. Li Qiyi narrowed his eyes, he found great joy in aggravating people he did not like. Grand Protector Yu, he coughed once again. The cough cuts off the pressure that Protector Hua was exerting. This made Protector Hua angry. He could kill Li Qiyi just by lifting his finger. There has never been an insect that has dared to talk to him like this before. Alright, let us start this test. Li Qiyi rose from his seat. Both tests are fine, I want to see the abilities of your princess. Hui contemptuously laughed. You don't have the qualification for Senior Li to participate herself, I will be the one that you are up against. Yuhi nodded in agreement. I heard you have only recently joined the Cleansing Incense Ancient Sect. We will not cheat you. If the princess personally delivered the test, then you would have 0 chance. Here, when it comes to inner talents and potential, the princess is number 1. When it comes to current strength, Junior Leng is the best. If one of them comes to test you, then after losing you would claim that it was unfair. Junior Su Hui has average talents amongst our inner disciples. Using him to test the prime disciple of the Cleansing Incense Ancient Act should not be too demeaning to your status. By not sending out their best disciples, the 9 Saint Demon Gate was giving Li Qiyi a sliver of hope. If the strongest disciple or Li Shuangyan participated, then even the 6 elders would have problems. Li Qiyi didn't bother to look at Su Hui. He stared at Yuhi and formally said, if this is the case, then at least your 9 Saint Demon Gate still has some hope after all. Although you went back on the original promise, you still managed to save a little bit of face and dignity. Fine, since you are allowing me to walk an extra step, I will spare you a yard just so that in the future you can't say that I have bullied the sect. 1. Character like you, he had spent many years experiencing everything life had to offer, but when he was staring at Li Qiyi, it still puzzled him that there could be someone who was so arrogant and confusing. Does he not know of our strength? Does he have 0 concept of cultivation levels? Yuhi broke his stoic demeanor with a small laugh. Go to the chaotic heart forest, the one that can go the farthest will win. Seeing that the test had finally begun, people started going towards the chaotic heart forest. In a second, the forest was already surrounded. HMMPH entering the chaotic heart forest, what can that trash hope to do? In the outskirts of the forest, jeering conversations began again. Another disciple voices another thought. In the last examination, Senior Su made it to level 5 of the forest. Now that he has reached the Heaven's Mandate stage and started getting ready to cultivate in the Warrior Canopy stage, his cultivation strength and willpower are much stronger than before. I predict that he could get to the 7th level. 1. The stages for cultivators are as follows from low to high. Palace Foundation, Palace Expansion, Yun Physique, Provisional Palace, Inner Longevity, Heaven's Mandate, Warrior Canopy, Purified Rebirth, Heaven's Primal and Fertility God. Once one has reached the unbeatable stage and received the Heaven's Will, one will be named Immortal Emperor. There were no immortals in the world, so a person might ask, why was there an emperor for immortals? Why does this title exist? It is because there is a saying, my fate is mine alone, not up to the heavens. The Heaven's Will serves as a shackle. It encompasses and traps all living beings. Once a cultivator reaches the pinnacle, their goal is to control the Heaven's Will so that they will finally be free from the prison. This was why one will be called Immortal Emperor once they have obtained the Heaven's Will. However, no one truly knows if true immortality was possible. This remained a mystery. Each era only has one Heaven's Will. Each era can only have one person becoming an Immortal Emperor. The Chaotic Heart Forest was where the 9 Saint Demon Gate judged a disciple's innate talents, cultivation affinity, and willpower. At this place, the most important quality was one's willpower. It consists of 14 levels. From an outside view, there were no drastic visual differences between it and a normal forest. However, this seemingly normal place was created by 9 Saint Virtuous Paragon. Intruders would be shown realistic illusions. Even the ones that possessed mystic eyes could not see through the technique unless they were stronger than 9 Saint Virtuous Paragon. Otherwise, the technique would be reality for all who stepped inside. For example, one could find himself trapped in a sea of fire. The body would feel as if it was actually entrapped. The mind would clearly feel the pain. The higher the level, the stronger the illusion would be. Of course, you could still use cultivation techniques to mitigate the pain as well as merit laws to prevent the fire from reaching your body. The only thing was that you could not escape the forest using any distance traversing techniques. Idiotic little boy, hurry up and enter. Outside of the forest, Su Hui smirked contemptuously towards Li Qi. He believed that with his current abilities it would be no problem to enter the 8th level. Li Qi looked at the forest and grinned slightly. That year the old chicken created the Chaotic Heart Forest himself. It was indeed a good location to test willpower. Me? Li Qi spoke clearly. Traversing the Chaotic Heart Forest holds no meaning to me. If I were to enter, then you wouldn't even have the chance to show your worth. You go first so that later on you can't say I didn't give you a chance. Li Qi again spouted arrogant comments, making everyone else shiver in contempt. Protector Mo and Nan Huai Ren wanted to lock up his mouth forever. Would you die if you said a few less sentences? Lying all the time. Idiots! Protector Hua proclaimed. You are just a piece of trash that doesn't know what cultivational willpower is, yet still runs his mouth without shame. Su Hui couldn't believe a mere mortal was looking down on him. He frowned. Good, such strong words. I have to see how many levels you can make it through. How many levels? How meaningless. Going through 14 isn't a big deal at all. Li Qi continued. That is why I'm letting you go first, so you wouldn't be so shocked. Do all people of the cleansing incense ancient sect lie like you without any hesitation? Another disciple couldn't stand it anymore and yelled out. Everyone knows that going through level 7 of the Chaotic Heart Forest was considered a wondrous task for the younger generation. To complete level 7, one would have to have a tenacious willpower or a high level of cultivation. Even the calm Grand Protector Yu, he couldn't help but shake his head. Why was he the prime disciple of the cleansing incense ancient sect? Going through 14 levels, was it that easy? Even Yu, he cannot go through the 14 levels at his current level. 14 levels. Hui exploded in laughter. If you can go through all 14 levels, I will call you father. I wouldn't have an unfilial son like you. Li Qi retorted. Good, if you are that confident with your mouth, do you dare to make a bet? Bet A, what will we bet? Li Qi smiled happily and asked. If you can penetrate all 14 levels, I will voluntarily concede. If you can't do it, then you have to crawl under my crotch, too. This bet caused the expressions of Protector Mo and Nan Huai Ren to instantly darken. This wasn't a test, it was a facade to shame Li Qi and the cleansing incense ancient sect. However, they could only dejectedly shake their heads. Li Qi brought this upon himself. Would you do the same if I make it through the 14th level? You will crawl under my crotch, right? Li Qi asked. If you can make it through the 14th level, he will do it and vice versa. Protector Hua interjected. Due to the killing of Du Yuan Guang, Protector Hua wanted to kill Li Qi with his bare hands. Since the opportunity wasn't right, the best he could do was to shame Li Qi. Li Qiyi looked back at Protector Hu, then formally nodded his head and said, "Fine, if this is your betting condition, I shall accept." Disciples of the Nine Saint Demon Gate all yelled loudly, "Senior Su, destroy him, accept the bet." Hui coldly replied, "I'll wait for you to crawl beneath me." He then turned and left towards the chaotic heart forest. This time, the cleansing incense ancient sect will lose all face, their prime disciple will have to perform such an act, haha. One disciple creepily laughed. Su Hui took his first step into the forest, the surroundings immediately darkened. He found himself in a demonic world. It was an area spanning 10,000 miles. Demonic energy filled the air, countless skeletons and the sounds of bones colliding with each other could be heard even before the bodies began to emancipate themselves from the ground. Su Hui inhaled and calmed himself. He channeled his energy and strengthened himself with his cultivation and steeled his willpower. He ignored the demons and passed through them with ease. First level. Everyone outside watched carefully without blinking an eye. Without any hindrance, Su Hui successfully passed through the first level. Second level, third level. Su Hui was definitely not average. His cultivation level and willpower were both excellent. His speed at breaking through the first 3 levels was, indeed, very swift. The fourth level, however, his speed began to slow down. Fierce silver skeleton kings began to attack him. In the beginning he chose to evade and parry them, but after his hands were broken, making him cry out in pain, his body started to destroy them instead as a defense mechanism. He possessed a silver body that warded off invaders on its own. However, this took a lot of energy. Once he reached level 5, he was completely surrounded by the skeletons. He roared loudly and summoned his defensive artifact. His magical sword flew straight into the sky, its blade spewed out true energy. This form of energy consisted of the Tao of Truths, and it conquered the four spheres 3. His life wheel appeared behind his head. It was a crimson red that encompasses the sky. It performed with unparalleled laws of power that destroyed everything in the surrounding area. Cultivation techniques that allowed for one to use his life wheel as an offensive tool were often stronger than certain physique forming techniques. This life wheel technique specialized in destruction, left behind by the virtuous Paragon. It was not of Paragon level, but it was still quite formidable nevertheless. 4. Li Qiyi slightly shook his head when he saw Su Hui killing his way through level 5. Chaotic Heart Forest. If your heart was chaotic, then killing only increased the uncertainty and exacerbate the illusions. Nine Saint Virtuous Paragon's goal was to train the willpower of the students, not their physical or combat strength. Level 7. Su Hui annihilated his way to the 7th level. This put the spectators in awe. Even Protector Hua felt satisfied. Su Hui was his disciple and his pride. Although Su Hui's aptitude could not compare to Li Shuangyan's and his strength was lacking against first disciple Leng Shizai, his progress today had pleased his master. Bang! Su Hui had only made it to level 7, but his strength had been expended. He couldn't handle the pressure of the chaotic heart forest any longer and was promptly removed. Just a little bit more. After the forceful ejection, it took Su Hui a moment to regain his consciousness. He couldn't help but yell out his regret. He thought that he could have at least made it to level 8, but he had still underestimated the difficulty of the chaotic heart forest.